Our next presenter is Olga Kullander. And Olga is leading the voice of customer at Polestar. She's been working with journey management for how long now?
Since I joined Polestar.
2.5
3
years
years,
ago.
yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it's a quite high experience level if you have been working on journey management over 2 years. There's not too many who have been doing that. Olga is also like quite active in LinkedIn and posting on especially about customer experience metrics. So if you really want to learn about how to measure customer experience, I really recommend following Olga on LinkedIn.
Thank you.
And today's presentation is about leveraging insights to drive value with journey management. Olga.
Thank you, Essa, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Really nice to see you all. This is actually my first time attending journey management specific presentation event, and I was positively surprised to see such high interest in this topic. It's great that it's growing. So great to see all of you curious and open-minded people. Hope to learn from you today with those with whom I will have privilege to speak. And from my side, I hope to give you some piece of inspiration based on how we work in Polestar. And thank you very much, Heidi and Caroline, for the presentation. I definitely could see some similarities in our mindset and approach. Hope you would see that too. And hopefully this will create some red thread through what we are talking about. But here we go. So for the next 20 minutes, I'll be talking about our approach to journey management, how we define it and how we use it in our work. I will also share with you Polestar version of the Triple Diamond way of work and where Insights team, where I belong, sits in this process. I also will give you a glimpse of how we generate actionable insights that support business goals. And I will also share with you the ambition of Polestar to become insight and impact-driven company. So to begin with, could you please raise a hand, those who are familiar with Polestar, for me to understand how much? Okay, I'm flattered, quite a lot. So let's do this quickly then. Well, Polestar is a Swedish electric car brand, and we have 2 models on the roads, Polestar 2 and Polestar 1, and we have 2 new models, Polestar 3 and 4, that are going to hit the roads this year, very soon. Very important for my story to mention, and that impacts a lot our work and everything that we do, is that we are direct-to-consumer brand, unlike many other automotive companies. So this means that we own most of the experience, most of the customer data, and our primary selling channel up until now has been online. Also, it helps a lot that CX is on corporate agenda. So, for example, Polestar NPS is included in the short list of those metrics that are actively monitored by top management and board of directors. So this is the company. And yes, we're a global company, of course. We operate in 27 markets on 4 continents. And still growing. So that was the company. And now let me give you some introduction to the team I belong to and how we work, because again, it defines how we work with the journeys. So I belong to Customer Insights, and we sit in Polestar Customer Experience Organization. And to support our work, we have put together Polestar Journey. You can see that it consists of 2 big stages, shopping experience and ownership experience. And inside, they have also smaller journeys. And our scope is this full lifecycle journey, end-to-end. So you see that we work on quite broad and strategic level. And we see managing Polestar Journey as an opportunity to manage overall experience as a company goal. So in other words, we ask ourselves in our work, what is Polestar ambition as a company? What kind of experience we want to deliver to our customers? Do we communicate it in a clear way? Do we deliver on that promise? How customer experience comes along with business goals and performance? Does it support them or does it damage them? So the questions that guides us in our work, and this is foundation for what we do. So we also, of course, ask ourselves, just like H&M team, what is journey management and what is the journey? So for us, managing Polestar Journey is about customer-centric and systematic approach to achieve business goals, having customer needs and perspective in mind. And it's really great that Engineering team also mentioned this, and Caroline was talking about that they also aspire to combine business and customer perspective. That's exactly what we're trying to do as well, because let's be honest, depending on what you do in the organization, it's quite easy to get lost in one of them. So for example, either people focus on the commercial side, so they think about the sales numbers, profitability, and other commercial metrics. Or if you're on CX side, it's also quite easy to get lost in customer needs and think mostly about customer perspective. Either way is not ideal because it makes you blindsided and it limits your growth. I will give you a simple example from Polestar context. So what is the value of high satisfaction with a test drive is if customers don't buy cars? So if you focus only on experience delivery and forget about the cost of delivering that experience and the end goal to actually convert prospects to customers, then you are not getting closer to company growth. And at the same time, if you focus only on the commercial side, the experience might be damaged. And of course, this also doesn't help to grow. So that's the challenge we are trying to overcome in our work, to combine these two perspectives, customer and business. And how we are trying to combine it, this leads us to Polestar Triple Diamond process. So we got inspired by our collaboration with They Do company and their promotion of Triple Diamond way of work. Although we adapted this model for Polestar context and vision. So here we have 3 key steps: understand, explore, and act. And being insights team, we naturally focused mostly on the first diamond, so on generating insights and defining opportunities. But we do this sort of in the loop. I already said that we're guided by the strategic direction for the company, and we actively monitor actual outcomes, the performance, using journey measurement to identify gaps and opportunities. So this is a very brief overview of how we work. But you can imagine that, of course, insights mean nothing if they are not acting upon, if they are not used. So, of course, to make it work, you need to go through all these 3 steps in 3 areas. And I want to emphasize that, again, getting back to where our team sits and what we do, due to our broad scope, we don't own explore and act steps, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. But we are not equipped to explore solutions and deliver them. That means a lot of collaboration for our team, a lot of stakeholder management. And also just want to mention, of course, we have in the company UX designers, we have the teams who are focused on specific interactions, and they might own these 3 areas. So I'm talking only about our team. So having in mind this active collaboration with stakeholders across the company, we defined the mission for our team. And our mission is to empower to act where it provides an intentional improvement to customer experience and company goals. So simply speaking, we want to help our colleagues to make informed decisions and be confident that their actions would lead them to the result that they want. But as you can imagine, it's easy to say, difficult to do. Of course, it's not enough to produce insights for that. Only insights, they don't work. You need to have something else. You need to have some prerequisites. And these prerequisites are learning mindset, customer-centricity, and insights impact-driven way of work, which means some kind of pull factor from the company. So our colleagues, they have to actively seek for insights to use them in their decision making. So that means that the scope for our team is not only to generate insight, but also lead some kind of transformation. And of course, I'm talking today mostly about generation insights for the customer journey and making value with this. But I want to mention transformation just to emphasize that it is important and it's necessary to make it work. And it's not easy and it takes time. To give you the example of what kind of transformation I'm talking about, I just want to ask you, are you familiar with the Notion Feature Factory? Have you heard it? Yes, so it's a usually negative definition of a company that constantly produces new features to their product and software. And why it's negative? Because it's sort of equivalent to prioritizing quantity over quality, and that we don't want. But unfortunately, this is common pitfall where many teams and companies end up in their work, because you have a goal, you go for it. That's quite straightforward. And again, the transformation that we are trying to drive is to pull the decision making a little bit earlier in this triple diamond process, and to encourage our colleagues across the company to first understand the problem, then explore opportunities, and only then act. So that's what we're trying to do. Now let's talk about how we generate insights in the company. So we consider that there are three elements in it. One important piece is vision and strategy. So this is the foundation to steer the focus and to understand like where to even look at. But our team doesn't own the strategy, so we work only with the product of it. What we own and what we do is journey measurement and journey research. Journey measurement is a set of indicators across Polestar journey that show us performance from different perspectives: customer, brand, and business. And journey research helps us to generate deeper insights and understanding about consumers when we try to solve the problem or achieve company goal. So let me give you an example. I already gave you some brief overview how we work on the example of Triple Diamond. So it's basically the same way of work, just different visual. So we're still a young company, and of course, like most of the commercial companies, we have sales targets and goals. But you can imagine that thinking about sales target is a bit difficult when you are trying to relate your everyday actions to it. So how to understand what I do today, how it will lead me? Is it even getting me closer to the end goal or not? So to get closer to it, we are trying to break down this end goal, for example, sales target, into some leading indicators across the journey that give us sort of indication, are we going in the right direction or not? Is something off or everything is working fine? And this is how it looks like, more or less. So again, this is shop and own Polestar journey, which is broken down in this visual into 6 smaller steps. And here you can see some examples of the indicators that I meant. So for example, on early stages, become aware, we are monitoring brand awareness. We look at the visits online in our website and offline in our workshops. And of course, we monitor customer satisfaction. Then test drive is a highlight of purchase consideration. And of course, we monitor test drive volumes and satisfaction with it, and of course conversion from test drive to purchase. So you already get the idea that we are trying to combine multiple perspectives. This is very important: business, brand, and customer. Of course, this is not the full list of what we're looking at, but I hope you get the idea. And for the example's sake, let's focus on the purchase. So I already mentioned that we primarily sell our cars online, and this is key channel. And we want this experience to be smooth and easy, effortless for our customers. So that's why we consider that customer effort score is a good experience metric for this area, for this touch point. And over time, we saw that our customer effort score is not great. So it was not super low, around 40, but it's not our ambition either. So we wanted it to be higher. And at the same time, one of the things that we're looking at while we overlooking the journey and our performance, we keep an eye on the customer support cases. And we saw that the biggest share of the questions comes from the customers that are in the middle of placing order, which creates cost for the company. So this is example of how numbers and indicators can give you understanding that, something is off here. And then we are trying to dive deeper, sorry. So using qualitative customer feedback from customer surveys, we are trying to identify experience drivers. And we use combination of AI models on our text data to identify topics in the feedback and their sentiment. So this is a simplified example of how it might look like here on the diagram. So for my example, what we saw 2 strong groups of customers. It was like almost 50-50. Some people loved buying car online. They were happy. It was smooth. It was great. Other people absolutely hated it. They said that it was impersonal and they didn't like it. So this has showed us some perception gap that impacted CX performance, but also impacted the business, because besides NPS and customer effort score going down, the volume of cases and support grew and the cost of sale grew, which is not good. So this is illustration or example of how you can see some gap with journey measurement, continuously looking at the indicators. But at this point in my example, we don't know what to do with this. Okay, we see this gap, we see these two strong groups, but what to do with this? And here, journey research can help us, because we can dive even deeper and see and get to the bottom of what we can do with this to define opportunity. So again, journey research, mostly the same approach, the same mindset, the same steps that we do, we just used different method. And you can see on the diagram examples of what kind of research we did for this example's sake. And the goal of the research was to discover consumer buying behavior and underlying motivation and needs. And we found some interesting things, like, yes, physical store is still most preferred way to buy a car, but online is growing. So this was positive for us as a direct-to-consumer brand. Also, we saw very interesting thing that the underlying motivation to choose one channel or another was completely different. So the people that chose online, they didn't want to interact with people. So they wanted to control the situation, not talk to anyone, and just do it on their own terms. The people who choose store experience, on the contrary, they want this personal interaction, and also they want to avoid mistakes. They want someone else to take responsibility over the documents and everything, and avoid any risk of making mistake. So this is what we realized, and the opportunity for the business, again having this all in mind, might be that if we want to have and keep this both groups of customers, then we need to create experience to meet their needs in both of the channels, and also to help these channels to smoothly overlap. But let's get back to the model. So I showed you the example when journey measurement sort of triggers journey research in journey management to identify some opportunities for improvement. But these two loops, so to say, they can also live parallel life. For example, journey measurement overlooking indicators, we can see in the feedback that customers complain at their cars being delivered dirty. When we look at the data, we see straight away that it's the problem in one market. When we talk to our operations colleagues, we know that it's just one provider who unfortunately has open trucks, and if the weather is bad, then the cars are getting delivered dirty. Then operations takes over and solves the problem. So this is very short-term incremental improvements. And in this way, we can call journey measurement also as continuous improvement loop. The same thing with journey research. We don't only use research to solve the problem. Sometimes we need to target a new goal for the company. Like, for example, targeting new customer segment. We know nothing about these customers, and we need to explore. And for this, we use research. And in this case, journey research can be called as continuous discovery. So this is the combination of continuous improvement and continuous discovery that we're trying to use, again, approaching the management of our Polestar journey to generate insights and to find opportunities for improvement. So let's get back to that triple diamond concept, and I will just summarize what we do within this first diamond. So with journey measurement and journey research, we generate insights, and then we define opportunity. And here, the most interesting thing. So we need to empower our colleagues to act. We need to collaborate with stakeholders, engage them, and move on and make these insights work. So unfortunately, I hope I'm not the only one, or our team is not the only one, but those who work with insights, you probably experience that you share some insight, you're burning with this, you think you found really good idea, and the stakeholders on the other side, they say, yeah, that's really interesting. And then they just move on with their business and their life, and nothing happens. And of course, we don't want that. It's a waste of time, waste of resource, and it doesn't bring value. We want our insights to become important and actionable, and we want people to use them in their decision making. So for that, we are trying to overcome that challenge. We are trying to be creative in how we communicate this message. And here we use journeys. So for us, Journey is a tool to put our message in the context and speak the language of our stakeholder. And for us, to be honest, it doesn't matter how it looks like. It's just visualization. We just try to make a point. So for example, if we talk with our sales colleagues, they don't understand customer journey map, unfortunately. It's too fluffy for them. It's too much information. They just don't get it. Or they can get it, of course, if we explain, but it's not their natural tool to use. So what we did talking to them, we use sales funnel, but besides commercial numbers, we also added CX numbers, CX information, and brand numbers. And all of a sudden, the picture became complete, and they saw something they haven't seen before. Similar thing happens when we deal with operational people. They, again, customer journey map might be a bit too, it might be not the tool they are willing to use, but they understand business process. And again, just adding on top of internal business process mapping some customer information and some numbers probably also can make a difference. Of course, when we deal with our UX colleagues and service designers, we use customer journey map because it's a natural tool for all of us. So my point here is it's okay from our perspective to be creative in how you use journey as a tool and visualize it in a different way to help your stakeholders to understand it. So yes, and finally, our ambition, where are we going? Of course, we would like to be insight and impact-driven company, which means that our company continuously acts based on insights and is very confident that what we do would lead us where we want to be. But I will be honest, we're not there yet. Although I must admit that we have teams in the company who work this way. But they don't even know about Triple Diamond process. They just naturally do this, and that's great. Also, we have teams in the company who are very action-driven, and they mostly focus on the action plans and deliverables, which unfortunately brings low confidence in the actions and low impact. Speaking about overall company situation, I would say that we're somewhere in the middle. So we are very insight to action focused and driven right now, unfortunately, because with the help of our team, we give understanding of the problem and of the goal for the company, which gives us medium confidence in the actions. But since we had no opportunity to explore this and test our solutions, then it's uncertain impact. So we can't be 100% sure that we're going in the right direction. So yes, that was everything that I wanted to share with you today, and some key takeaways. So find leading indicators along the journey to steer your focus to understand where even to look at. Combine continuous improvement and continuous discovery to manage your journey. Connect insights from multiple perspectives using the journey to make sure that you're bringing value both for the business and for the customer. Be creative in how you use insights and journeys to engage stakeholders and to make your insights more accessible. And transformation. Allow time and effort to do that because it's not easy and it takes time. So thank you very much for your attention. And
thank you so much, Olga. Great presentation with so many insights. Does anyone have a question? We'll use the mic so that everyone, and also on the recording, we can hear. Yes.
Hello, great presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How do you work with combining Journey's methodology with empowered product teams who are expecting to do their own research?
We have, well, it's an interesting question. Yes, so we are focused mostly, as I said, on the insights, and they work mostly on the deliverables part of it. So we are trying to connect somewhere in the middle. And speaking of journey, we try to collaborate and using the same journeys, but of course they might create their own. So we just try to sync in the middle. I cannot say that across the company we have unified journeys that everyone uses and they are standardized or something like that, but we're just trying to sync and collaborate. I would not say that it's ideal right now, but yes, we're going there.
Yes. Coming.
Thank you so much for presenting. It's very interesting to
Thank
hear.
you.
Also, I'm very interested about the part where you're saying you need to translate the different parts for different departments for the customer journey to talk with those stakeholders. It's super interesting. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I actually have two questions. One of them would be, in the triple diamond example that you were giving, how is the process for prioritizing like the opportunities with the different competences as well?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I would say that unfortunately, this is outside our scope for our team. So we don't prioritize. We just generate them and share with the stakeholders who are equipped to make those decisions. So unfortunately or fortunately, again, I don't know, our scope finishes on the part of sharing this with the stakeholders, and then they decide if it's worth to move on with it or not, or if they want to do this now, or if they want to keep it in the backlog. So the prioritization happens on the business side. And from that perspective, I would say it's difficult to speak for the colleagues, but I know that, of course, they also are guided by business goals. So if the key goal is profitability and sales, they probably would think in that direction if this initiative would bring something of that. But again, I'm not actively involved in this process.
Okay, thanks a lot. I can imagine it would be kind of like reading business kind of concepts as well to understand. The final one would be, how do you keep updating the customer journey? For instance, you acted in an opportunity. Would you remove that pain point? How is the process of keeping it up to date, let's say?
Yes, this is also a very good question, and I probably will disappoint you because we don't update our journeys like on ongoing way. And again, we have this overall high-level Polestar journey that I showed you. We, of course, over time did some research, and we have some areas more mapped, more detailed mapped than other areas, and we try to keep it updated, but I would not say that we overlook like every opportunity acted upon and updated it right away. I would say that the next time we do the research or the next time we see the problem, we get back to the journey that we have, and then we start to update it and so on. Also, I would say just it's very important to mention right now we're a super small team. So for the whole Polestar, it's only 2 people who work with these 2 areas, and yeah, unfortunately, it's not possible right now.
I think we had 2 more questions here that we have time. So you first, and then here we had. Yes.
So thank you, super interesting.
Thank you.
So you mentioned that sometimes it can be hard to convince people about the opportunity, that they should actually work with it and that it's important. Do you have a real-life example that you could share of an opportunity that was sort of hard to convince about at first, but you did find a way?
Oh, yeah. Well, the example that I just made during my presentation, that was one of it. So when we presented this knowledge to our colleagues first, they said that, oh, yeah, interesting, but we will put it on hold. But right now, I would say that the company is sort of moving in that direction eventually. Another example would be delivery communication. I don't know if it makes sense for everyone, but again, reminder that people buy our cars online, and then if it's a car that you configure yourself, if it's not available car in stock, then you should wait for it. And then for such orders, the delivery communication was not ideal, so people could see different information coming in different sources and so on, so it was messy. And that was, again, that created huge cost for the support team because it was generating a lot of questions at the anticipation phase. And it took 2 years, but it fixed now. Yes, and it was really like literally cross-functional effort, because on many levels, many leaders were preaching about this and making business cases and defending this. But yeah, eventually we fixed it collectively.
Cool. Last question we had here.
Thank you, Olga. Great presentation, super inspiring. And I have a question about the organization setup. You said you're only 2 people in your team. How is the organizational setup, and what's pros and cons with how it is right now?
Well, it's difficult for me to respond to this question. It's very relevant, I totally understand, but we went through some major transformation just recently, so I cannot say anything about new structure and how it works. I guess we'll see over time. But as I said already, we sit within CX team, and CX team is quite big. It's only us who work with insights, quite small. So CX in Polestar has a big CX operations team who work with customer service, with overlooking retail experience and support I mentioned already there. Also, we have training team within CX who focuses on educating frontline staff about the experience and how they should deliver this. And we have a strategy and improvement delivery sort of team. So that's how we are organized right now. Does it answer your question?
Yes, definitely. How big is your CX team?
Oh, that's also a difficult question, because we spread not only location, geographically, we're quite spread. So I don't know, maybe 50 people, something like that. Yeah. But I don't want to misinform you guys. It's just my wild guess.
Thank you so much, Olga. And
thank you. Yes, thank you very much.